Conscious Living. And as usual, every week we have inspirational individuals who talk about their life, not only within the community, but also how they improve their lives, what they do to directly or indirectly be positive and improve themselves. Now, I've got two wonderful guests, and as always, I think it's always better if they introduce themselves. Okay, so Banji, I'll start with you.
I'm Raj Birk, and I'm a police officer, and I work for the Metropolitan Police. I'm also an intelligence officer as well.
So I better be careful what I say. And Buddy, please tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jitinder Singh, and I'm an internet strategist and a web coach, and I've got a massive passion for personal development.
Okay, so look, as I did tell you, we've got some amazing people here. Now, Banji, you said you're in the police, okay, so, everything's all fine, I know, check my parking tickets and everything, okay. But what's nice is that it's nice to see somebody of this style walking around the community. How do people respond? And, just if you could just tell the Sangat,
Well, Raju, basically, to start off with, it was quite daunting for me because I thought, there's not many turban-wearing police officers, especially in my police officer role.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit sort of scared, I could say,
Which is understandable, yeah.
Nervous because I didn't know how people were going to react and, or not react, so to speak. But as I've been going out, it's been an absolute pleasure. I love going out, and it's seva for me because
Lovely.
I am a special constable, and in a way it's seva that I can do without having to sort of say that I'm doing it, going to the Gurdwara,
Yes.
doing fundraising, all this, because this is something that needs to be done, and I wish there was a lot more female Sikh Dastar-wearing officers, because it would be such a nice aspect of the job to share.
Oh wow, okay. I mean, how would somebody who's watching right now say, do you know what, that sounds really nice, you've got Banji over here, she's there, she's saying something really positive, okay? I mean, how would they go about doing that?
It's quite simple. At the moment, I know I'm not trying to sell the Metropolitan Police, but they are, always recruiting because they want to make it such a diverse family.
Mm-hmm.
And they are. I've never experienced anything but a welcoming response from them.
Okay.
And especially with the start, first and foremost, they sort of look at you and think, oh my God, how do we approach this now? But then once they sort of get to know you and speak with you, and you're doing the training that they expect from
Mm-hmm.
you, and then you actually finally go out in the community, that's when it all starts going really, really well.
Wow.
Also, you are going to be confronted with situations where they're not so pleasant, but that's part of the job.
It's funny because you're talking right now, and the first thing that comes to me, obviously, is, it's like, it's a dark night, okay, and you've got these crazy yobbos or whatever, I don't know, and it's like, oh gosh, I've got to try and... I mean, does that situation happen often? I mean...
You're always going to get that kind of situation,
Yeah.
whether it's a winter night or a summer's night.
Yeah.
You're always going to be confronted with somebody that you don't want to be.
Yeah.
For me, I find it very sort of, I don't know, it's quite challenging because I can't take the mum out the role. So when I'm going out and I'm dealing with youth, I'm automatically putting myself in that role of a mum. But also, I understand where the youth are coming from,
Yeah.
and sometimes it is just banter, and they want to see how far they can push your buttons.
I can see your point. I think most are not bad. It's just that it's that age, and they probably see that. Yeah.
It would be very, very welcoming, I think, for the Metropolitan Police family to have more female Dastar-wearing Amritdhari officers.
That's really nice to hear, actually.
Yeah, it would be a real pleasure because there's not enough of them. I'm the only one in my area, and I don't get treated any differently, but by our community I certainly do, because they sort of want to stop and talk to you. They're just intrigued by, they've never seen a bug-wearing officer, and in uniform as well. I get lots of smiles from the older generation. And the BBA, they all want to, I have people compliment me saying, you look really good in your uniform. So, it's very rewarding.
Oh, wow.
Very, very
Well,
rewarding.
listen, you're hearing from Panji here. You know, if you have ever thought about it, you know, what we'll do, we'll put something in on our Facebook webpage, just details, you know, if they want to even speak to you or, you know,
Yeah,
just some
yeah,
details.
definitely.
So, yeah, that's fantastic. Did you know that? I mean, that was fascinating, wasn't it?
That was definitely, yes.
So please tell us a bit about yourself. I mean, I know I've got this book here as well, whatever. Please tell us more about...
About the book or?
well, basically, you tell me, you know, just before we went on live that you do personal development.
That's right, yeah.
You got your own company.
Yeah.
Okay. And the first thing I noticed when you said the company
Yeah.
was the amazing name. You know? Okay. It's not the first thing that comes to mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But, so, I mean, I'll let you mention the name, okay?
Okay, the name of the company is actually bigfanta.com.
You can understand why. Right?
And it's internet strategy, web design development is predominantly what we do. And you're probably wondering where the name came from.
It does hit, yeah. I mean, a certain drink comes to mind initially, but
A lot of it is actually subconscious marketing in a sense as well.
the Khalsa colour.
The Khalsa color, the logo that we got is green and blue, which is earthly colors.
Oh.
If you actually look at the symbol that we use, it's like a yin yang, which represents harmony.
Yes, I think yes. I come to think of it.
synergy.
Yes, okay.
And I mean, the way it all came about was purely accidental when I was back in the sixth form. And it's just an
About
incident.
2 years ago.
No. And yeah, it was just a little incident that happened with some of the colleagues at the time, just walking past someone, and it was one of those times that it was like in school and it smelled of cigarettes, and we were like, why does it smell of cigarettes around here, or why is it a weird smell coming? And this girl turned around, she said, oh, yeah, blah, 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 all this kind of gangster talk kind of stuff, and I was like, okay.
In college? No. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
in college.
Yeah.
So we just pretty much walked away from that, and then she came up to us, and I was actually with one of my friends at the time who was a boxer, and at the time he was a boxer, but and he was taller than myself, and she just came and like pushed him.
He's quite tall. I mean, you're what, 6 foot?
6'1".
6'1", yeah.
That's right, yeah. Anyway, just to cut a long story short, is this girl apparently was high on drinking Coke, the drink.
Okay.
And when my friends saw this, they said, oh, they've been drinking Fanta, so Big Fanta kind of thing. That's where the name came from.
Wow. Now, if that girl's watching right now and she says, okay, I want my royalties, how would she go back to it? No, but that's really good, actually. And you're also discussing your fascination with personal development.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
how did that come about? Because that, I believe, is a separate entity to your company, because you do web development, isn't it?
It's a separate entity,
Yes.
but what I ended up doing was combining my trade with my passion. Okay. And
okay.
now the personal development side of it basically came when I was at university, and I did information systems at university, and
something in common.
yes, definitely. And the dissertation I did was on how to measure emotional intelligence using a web-based system. Now, first I thought emotional intelligence must be something like artificial intelligence, right? But it wasn't. When I started looking into it, I found out that the definition is emotional intelligence is basically the ability to monitor your own and other people's feelings and emotions,
Okay.
then being able to use those feelings and emotions to pursue and attain goals. And that's a definition by a guy called Daniel Goleman, who wrote Emotional Intelligence. So when I found out that it was to do with the way we think and things like that, and started researching it, I started coming across how the brain works, left brain activity, right brain activity, thought processes, all sorts of things. It just blew me away. I thought, wow, I didn't even know this stuff existed.
You know, it's fascinating, Jatinder, because when Benji was just talking just now, okay, it was fascinating. I said, how do you react to, you know, elements, you know, when you're walking on a dark night? And she said, the mum role
Yes.
comes out in me. And it was fascinating because she's using an instinct, but not only instinct, but something you've learnt.
Yes, yeah.
Does that make sense? And the reason it just, when you were talking,
Yeah.
how the mind thinks and how people react
Yeah.
is, I mean, does that connect with
Yeah.
what
It's-
Jatinder's saying?
Well, it's the body language, isn't it? I mean, sometimes you can go, especially in my job, you can go in and you can go and think you're going to deal with an incident, like, you know, really, you have to put some kind of exterior on as well. You've got to be yourself. And ultimately, that's what's going to come through,
Mhm.
because the body language is a big thing. You're going out and you're speaking with a child, we can only sort of, I suppose not, you have the adults, the females, the males and that, and you've got this kind of distinction between, is a female talking with a male, but the kids, they don't see that, they don't actually see you, they see the uniform.
That was actually going to be my next question. Who do they see?
Yeah, they see
Okay.
the uniform. So whether you're black, green with pink spots or something, they don't see that. They see a uniform.
So
and
you're
so
part of the police
family.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what they're seeing. So they don't care what colour you are. They don't know that I'm wearing. They don't even see my turban. They see nothing of that sort.
Ah.
All they're seeing is a Metropolitan Police uniform, and how you approach them
Yeah.
is how they're going to be dealing. Their language changes. Their body language automatically
Fascinating.
changes.
I mean,
Absolutely.
how does that go with?
No, absolutely. I mean, different sources give you different numbers, but they say when there's communication going on,
Yeah.
the biggest percentage of communication that goes on is actually body language. They say about 50%, 50 to 60% of what actually goes on in communication is body language. Around 25%-ish is tonality,
Okay.
right? And then the rest is just literally what you say.
So hold it a second. So what, 50 to 60% you say
Is
is
body
body
language,
language.
yes.
The rest is
Tonality.
About how much? Roughly about 20.
20, yeah. And
So I could say anything to you, but if I'm saying it in a proper manner.
that's right, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm sure you come across it. It's like
Yeah.
you see the body language and you could pick up so much
Yeah.
from what's actually going on.
Absolutely. They could be saying something to you, and you can read their body language, their eyes, the way they're conducting themselves with you.
Mhm.
It sort of gives it all away. Your natural instincts that you're born with.
Mhm.
They also sort of set in as well, and they have a big sort of influence as to what you're going to do. And it's not always doom and gloom. You have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Speaking on that sort of term, it is a very rewarding job to do. I know that people sort of think, how am I going to go about doing it, a female? That it means nothing.
No, I think it's great. I mean, it's really inspiring to hear, that you're out there and you're helping, and and you're doing something for the community. And I totally believe that you're putting the image of Sikhi in such a positive light, because I always believe
Absolutely.
actions speak so much louder than words.
Yeah.
But how does the police, and I asked this question before, but how do they feel, when you go, I don't know, you're talking and they go, so are you a Sikh? I mean, or are those questions understood now that
No,
you're a
they're
Sikh?
not. They're not. People sometimes, because of all the regulations and everything, people are frightened to ask you, and they sort of hold back when they're sort of saying to you, what sort of religion do you come from?
Yeah.
And they don't know what to call your turban. They don't actually know, and a lot of it's not their fault, because from where they're coming from, they've never. I mean,
Yeah.
I know officers that have never even seen a Asian with, especially a female with a turban. They've never
Yeah.
ever come across another ethnic minority.
Yeah.
So for them,
I come across that even in my job as well when I go to
Yeah.
different parts of the country. So yeah.
they're just. I mean, on the phone when I'm doing my other role on the phone, I mean, I don't speak with an accent of any kind like that. I mean, I've got my town accent a little
Your
bit.
broad accent.
Well, I'm actually from Coventry originally, so I seem to have lost that somewhere along the line. And but it sort of comes in, but they don't know where you come from, your colour, nothing. And people do actually sometimes say to me, are you white, or are you another nationality? And then you have to
I'm a
sort of,
Sadarni.
I want to, I really do. You see me, I stick out like a sore thumb, the sort of thing.
Okay.
But it sort of, it does make a difference as to, how they sort of project themselves to you, and how comfortable they feel with you as well. And being a Sikh female officer, it's quite a challenge. It really is a challenge.
I'd love to know the
Because they don't know.
techniques.
They
I'd
don't
love
know.
to know the techniques that they perhaps teach you. I mean, I was going to come. I mean, Jatinda, there must be some similarities. I mean, do the police? I mean, do you know if they get in touch with professionals, or whatever, on the body language side? Like if you got somebody aggressive, because they all, it's like, okay, calm down. Instead of saying,
You are taught certain ways of how you're going to deal with the situation. You know, you can go in all aggressive and straight up you're going to get the same kind of
Because
response.
it's the same energy, isn't it? Because you're putting
or you
energy,
can go in and say, you know, what's going on. Be a bit more. They're human at the end of the day. They're not, you know, even though you've got the uniform on, they're still people.
Of course.
And so you have to be. My view is you've always got to speak to people how you would like to be spoken to yourself.
Brilliant. Yes.
In the outside world. Whether you're Asian, Sikh, or Muslim, or white, British, or anything, it doesn't matter because underneath we're all the same.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of image that should be given.
No, that's really good. It's really inspiring just to be
We just like
listening
to look different,
and talking to both of you. Now, I'm just going to come because I've got this book now, Multiple Streams of Inspiration. Now, how were you involved in this? If I can just show, he's got this amazing book. I had a quick look, but please do tell us, because the reason I'm saying that is is there a competition we're having? Yes.
Yes, yeah, we got a few copies to give away.
A few of our lucky viewers will be getting this book as well.
Definitely. Well, that book came about. It's been up for a few years now.
Okay.
And
you're giving me an old book.
But it's a part of, you know, all the kind of things I'm involved in still today with the kind of people I work with.
Okay.
And a few years back, I was involved with a company that was heavily promoting personal development. So we used to have a lot of speakers coming over from the States, from different parts of the world, talking, holding events. And one of the guys who actually headed this project was a guy called Johnny Wimbury. And he's a success coach out in the States. And I was on his mailing list, so he sent out, to everybody on the list saying, look, we're looking for people to be part of this project. If you got anything that you want to share with us, let us know. Originally, I kind of just ignored it. I've always wanted to have some sort of publication, and it came around again, basically. And so I thought, what have I got to lose? So I basically put together like a personal development poem, and I sent it off to them. And they said they liked it, and they wanted to get me to write up a chapter for them.
Okay.
So I did actually write up a chapter alongside another 23 different authors from around the world, and they're all in there.
Oh, that's nice to hear, actually. How do you feel in your aspects, because you're heavily involved, as you say, with personal development, that the Sikhi has helped you?
Yes.
I mean, how would you feel it has? I mean, because I mean, personally, I know there's so many passages I read, and it really like gets me, you know.
Yeah.
And that brings me on nicely in a moment to to yourself, and we're going to be talking about a wonderful book as well. But on this side, I mean, how has Sikhi helped you?
Well, predominantly, I started reading out books on Sikhi when I was a lot younger, and at the time I didn't know it was personal development in a sense as well.
Yes, I mean a lot of us don't.
That's right. Yeah. The thing that struck me the most was it's one of the lines, which is "Manajit Jagjit." And that got me thinking, what does that mean? What's that all about? So, from my understanding of it, it was all about, becoming self-aware and almost conquering your own mind. And I thought, wow, how do I go about doing that?
Yeah.
And that's how when I read those books originally when I was doing my university degree, the connection, the neural networks in my brain connected up, and I thought, hang on, there's a link here.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, all right, I've got to explore this, and it just fascinates me. It just totally fascinates me. And one of the other things I remember reading once in an English translation that Guru Nanak said, people are like dead men walking, and I thought, what does that mean? Kind of, what's going on there?
People
are like dead men walking.
Okay.
And I thought, what's that all about? Kind of thing. And the more I looked into that, I kind of started thinking it's about that connection that you have with the divine. A lot of people are so caught up in the rat race, doing all these kind of things, working this, that, and the other, blah, 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 that they let their mind run on autopilot. And when it runs on autopilot, it's habit. It just kicks in, just happens.
That is so true.
They're not looking at what the outcome of their actions are, so they can go back and think, hang on, how do I change this?
Okay. Yeah.
So those kind of things, just thought, there must be, our gurus are saying, look, learn, study about your mind. We're
Well,
Sikhs at the end of the day.
exactly. What does
You
Sikh
know?
mean? Yeah.
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 So that's one of the biggest driving forces behind it. Really, it was just
So,
do this.
do you? Because you talked about success. Have you ever been on stage, or do you coach people, or do you talk on stage?
That's one of my current goals. One of my current
Okay.
goals is actually getting better at public speaking and live
Okay.
speaking. I was really nervous coming up on a live show today, but
It's only us and a few million people. I mean,
that's right. And it was funny. I texted one of my business mentors, a guy called Suki Wahiwala, based in Peterborough, and he texted me back and said, "Don't worry about it. You're going to speak, you know, whatever God took him is kind of thing."
yeah.
And it put me at ease. And I thought, you know, you got these business mentors who also Sikhs, but you know, they're talking about Sikhi, and
Yeah.
and it comes out in everything we do.
No, absolutely. No, that brings on. You know what's amazing, Jatinder, is, and you know, I would really recommend this book as well. I mean, it's, you know, you get certain books and you read them, and you think, you know, that's really good. I mean, if it's okay, if I could just show you this book. The reason is I've been reading this all week, and it's, I would say it's really changed my view in such a positive way. It's on the Dasam Granth Sahib. And I do believe that there are so many misquotations or misunderstandings of Dasam Granth Sahib. And what I liked about this was it's based on questions and answers. And the nice thing is basically is that a lot of these questions and answers were answered. You know that, and Ben, if you could tell us more where we can get this book from, you know, because it was nice of you to give this book, but where can the general public?
The book is available on Amazon.
Okay.
And obviously, there's the book is available on Amazon, and you can actually, if you know my husband as well, who's taken a lot of time with his dear friend Gurinder Singh Mann as well to write this book.
Okay.
It is available directly as well, where we can post them out. So you know, if anybody's interested, we can certainly leave our email address.
What we'll do, we have a Facebook page,
Yeah.
Conscious Living, and what I'll do is I'll make sure that details of this book and also Jatinder, your book as well, in regards to the competition. So at least our viewers, you know, can get access to these books. I mean, I love this in regards to, if I can just have a look at the questions on here, you know. It says, you know, what are some of the popular shabas recited from Dasam Granth? And it's like, it's interesting because I was talking with somebody the other day and they said, oh, Dasam Granth, oh, I'm not sure. And little do they know that so much, Jalsa, Chandi Divar, Savaya, Shabd Hazare, you know, the shabas in there. And it really opened my mind. And you got some amazing pictures in here. Sorry, I could just keep on looking at this one. I'm going to pass this back, otherwise I'm just getting absorbed. You know, if you don't mind, if you just tell us a bit more.
It's actually basically questions and answers, as it says.
What was the inspiration behind it? And I think I already know the answer in a sense, but, you know, coming from...
Well, the inspiration is to make it simple because, like you said, a lot of people have got a lot of questions about Dasam Granth, and this is just made simple. Simple that even I found it quite interesting to read as well. And I haven't actually finished it yet, but I'm still going through it. So
I have finished it. Okay. I'm going to read it again, but, you know.
But I'm sure it's
Yeah.
one book that I will keep on referring to because it
Yeah.
was things that I was thinking that sort of were made clear and very simple. So it was mainly just to promote and to actually get the doubt out of people's minds.
Yes,
and that's what it's about.
I think you could agree with that. There is doubt, isn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, funny you should say, many years ago now, when I was reading initially, there was a book that I picked up which was extracts from the Dasam Granth.
Yeah.
And it's got to be one of the most influential books I've ever read. And it was just extracts. You know?
Well, you need to get this book.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. No, definitely. We'll definitely put details on that. And it's nice. So it's on Amazon as well.
It is available on Amazon
Okay.
and directly as well, like you said, from Facebook. You
Okay.
know, we will definitely leave the details. But it's certainly a book, not just because my husband's written it, but it is one that I would definitely recommend.
Yeah.
And even, you don't have to be a practicing Sikh to read it because, you know, it just simplifies everything about Dasam Granth.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know a lot about it, it sort of clarifies everything
You know,
as
it's
well.
funny. Apart from obviously you get the enlightened souls, but I think the general public, and that I totally include myself. I had very, very little idea
Yeah.
on the Dasangra. I'll be absolutely
And this sort of
honest.
tells you everything all in one.
Yeah.
Book.
Okay. No, that's great. It's something which I think will be great. For people just to make up your own minds. At the end of the day, it's we're not saying it's everything's there's truth or not truth. That's not. It's me. It's just for us to understand, and that's what I liked about it.
And once you read it, you will definitely keep going back to it without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's an amazing book.
Jatinder, I mean, again, I'm going back to your personal development because
Yeah,
I think
sure.
it is a fascination of mine as well.
I know.
I mean, what's amazing is a few years ago, you'd recommended me go on a weekend course.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that.
Mm.
Now, do you hold courses or, actually, talk about, do you have any techniques? You could
Techniques?
Yeah, it would be nice, like there were a few, like when I went on this course, it was, I think, a weekend course on hypnotizing.
Hypnosis.
Hypnosis,
That's
yeah.
right, yeah.
And it was fascinating because most of the actual course was on, as you say, tonality.
That's right.
Okay.
That's
Lord,
right.
and it was really good. I really enjoyed it
Yeah.
because I think most of it, I thought I should actually know that because it is common sense.
Yep.
But if you don't actually have an A to B to C process, it's like, but as now I've got you here. Give us some examples.
Yeah, sure. I could give you an example of a technique. The human brain kind of works on representational systems. 3 of them that we can talk about
Okay.
are visual, auditory, and kinesthetic.
Okay. Visual, understand. Auditory, and what's the other one?
kinesthetic.
Okay.
And visual is obviously visualization, when we
Yeah.
use that part of the brain to visualize things.
Okay.
Auditory.
For example, being D-Day. Star Day, 25th of September. Yes, okay. So please, everyone, I know I'm just diverting just slightly, but on Sunday, 25th of September, please do go there. Yeah. But sorry, that's the visual side.
This other side is auditory, which is to do with sound, internal dialogue, for instance, music, things like that. And the other thing is kinesthetic, which is to do with feeling and body. Yeah.
Okay.
And our brain kind of jiggles through this throughout the day. We're bombarded with visual, auditory, kinesthetic, but at the same time, it's also internal.
Okay.
We have internal dialogue, we have internal visualization, we have internal emotions.
That inner chatter, you mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's a funny one because a lot of people say, "I don't chat to myself." What are you talking about? That's the voice we're talking about here. Is that what you hear inside yourself that makes you think?
It's that battle, isn't it?
That's it. That's it. And the funny thing about the battle is, it's actually left-right brain activity. Because your left brain is logical.
Yeah.
That's right. And it thinks in numbers, reading and writing, time. And your right brain is basically irrational. It just does whatever. Visualization, music, timelessness, sleep, dreaming, all those kind of things. So what happens is there's actually a banter going on between your left brain and your right brain. And it's like, shall I do this? And logic says, yeah, do it. And whereas your brain goes, no, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. Yeah.
So it's actually a battle going on between the 2 hemispheres.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about these representational systems is because you're constantly in it. One of the techniques that you could do is to kind of separate them, right? So you give a rest moment to each part of those activities.
Okay.
And one of the ways to do that is, like if we go auditory, for instance, right? We just go quiet, shh, and just listen to what's around you.
Okay, everyone listen.
Right? And everyone, obviously, at home is going to be different things. You might hear people, you might hear the police outside, you might hear different sounds.
Or in here.
Or in here. So what you do, if you listen to the sounds outside of you, right? Things that are going on in the moment right now around you, yeah? And focus on that for a while. So you're shifting your attention just to listen to sounds around you, okay?
Okay.
Do that for about 30 seconds, a minute,
Okay.
right? Or if you feel yourself drifting off. Then what you want to do is visual. Do a visual technique. Basically look around you, just see what you got in front of you. And then we got like a blue cloth on that side, and you look at it and go into detail. You can see stitches on it. So what you're actually doing is changing your representational system, while the other 2 are kind of resting. right?
Oh, that's
So
fascinating.
you're looking at that, and then what you might want to do that for about 30 seconds or a minute or so, and then you want to go kinesthetics or feeling based. So you're sitting down, for instance, and the pressure of the floor on your feet.
Ah,
See,
okay,
it's
okay.
there.
I can
It's all
actually, yeah, I
subconscious,
never
but
thought of it
until
before.
till
Now I can feel it. Yes,
you know.
these shoes are quite comfy. Yes.
The temperature, for instance, of the air around you, how
Yeah.
does it feel on your arms?
Put the AC on, guys.
And you know how if you could wiggle your toes, you might feel your socks, for instance.
Yeah.
You know, so if you do this and then rotate it, so go through it again, so then do another auditory check and do a visual check and do a kinesthetic check. Keep doing that for a while. What you'll end up finding is your brain kind of starts to quieten down a bit and becomes present. And when you're becoming present, all the activity in your brain starts to calm down.
That's fascinating.
So
yeah.
therefore, you start to rest, relax, chill out a bit, and see my tonality dropping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm feeling very relaxed. If I fall asleep, it's because of Jatinder. No, that's nice because they do say we have to live in the present.
Yes.
You know,
Yep.
and you know,
Yeah.
and most of the time we go, okay.
Do you want me to touch on that topic as well?
Absolutely, yeah. Go
Okay.
on, yeah.
Again, 3 elements.
Yeah. See, I use the word absolutely. It was like the in word 2 years
That's
ago. Absolutely.
Yeah, you got 3 elements again. You got the past,
Okay.
present, future.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the moment we're in the present, everything's happening right now.
It's
in
a
this
gift,
moment.
isn't it?
It's a given. Exactly. Hence the name present. Everything we've done is in the past, so it's a memory.
Yeah.
So it's in the past. It's done, dusted. It's a memory. Yeah. The future hasn't happened, right? We don't know what the future holds for us.
Okay. Yeah.
But
that's
what
true.
people tend to do is project their past into the future because of association. The brain likes to work on association. It's like you said, when people see you, they don't see you, they see the uniform. So the brain, you know, thinks, oh, police officer, uniform, blah, 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 makes a
Yes.
connection.
Yes.
You know, so so people project their past into the future. Yeah. So what tends to happen is people are either living in the past or the future,
Yeah.
but they're not being present. It's when you become present right now, what's happening in this moment, that's powerful. You know.
Because I think that, you know, even within Sikhi, I think the whole idea is to be within
Absolutely.
the present.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay. But it is hard. I mean, most of the time, I mean, I know I'm here. I'm here on Sikh channel right now. You know, but everything I've done in the past, is it not telling me how I should be acting now? So
It's also, yes, definitely. So I'm not saying forget the past.
yeah.
What I'm saying, it becomes a memory that's stored. So when you're about to go into a situation that's quite similar to your past, some parts of your brain start to flash again. So you go, hang on a minute, last time I did this, X, Y, Z happened. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to happen again. So it's a cautious point for you.
Yes.
You know, so that's why it's in the past, but it doesn't mean that's it. Get rid of it. You know, it's there to also support you for your future.
No, that's good. I think it's that associate. I mean, I think that's really amazing because it makes sense what Benji was just saying just now in terms of they don't see me necessarily,
Yeah,
but they see the association.
that's it.
In terms of the police. Honestly, yeah, you know, when you're walking, you do associate. That's why I think it's so important
Yeah,
in a way that wherever we are, I mean, obviously we have to be ourselves,
yeah,
but people either associate us in a positive, negative, or neutral way. But we're not there to say, okay, I have to always be this, you know, super amazing person.
yeah.
You know, we have to be ourselves.
That's right.
But that's fascinating. That's why you get the stereotypes I get,
Yeah.
whether they're positive or negative. So that makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And talking about stereotypes, we're talking about positive stereotype here. I do believe word is just coming in. Okay, that I believe it's within the West London area. Okay, we all know on Saturday. Okay, we normally have football. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I understand. Okay, that on Saturday, possibly not too far from the Southall area, will be the first ever Sing FIFA control game cup being held. Okay,
Wow.
I've not got all the details on me, but it's being held this Saturday. I think there are 32 players, and yeah, word's just coming in. Yep, okay. 4 more people are possibly needed. Okay, whatever. So, so if any of you are interested, okay, whatever, just email joe.boley, okay, that's B-O-L-E-Y, so jo.boley, B-O-L-E-Y @gmail.com, okay. It promises to be a fun day. Okay, I think it's just all Sings getting together, playing FIFA on their remote controls, and having a Singnese. Everyone's welcome. Okay, so just email on that, or again on Facebook.com. We'll put all the details on there. So so I had to put that in because it's fascinating. It's, at the end of the day, it's everyone all getting together and having a laugh, sort of thing. But Banji, I'm going to have to come and ask you some more questions, okay? If that's okay with you,
Yeah,
okay?
sure.
Again, it's regarding the police force, but not just that. How do you fit your home life in relation to that? And I mean that in regards to the training you get from the police force. You come home. Do you use aspects of that at home with the Sangat? Because you are representing all the time. It's like that's a tough question.
That is a very difficult
It just came to me. Don't ask me from where.
No, you don't. When you're doing that job, you're doing it at work, and it may come across to people that you are actually constantly 24/7 in that role.
Yeah.
But you're not. Because while you're doing it, and the only way you can enjoy it is when you're doing it, you're doing it to the fully and at your best.
Yeah.
And when you come home, you're stepping in from that role into your normal everyday.
Do you find it easy to sort of switch? Because, and I'm talking this, from a person who's a police officer to a mum to a wife. I guess, Jatinder, that kind of makes sense in terms of how we associate ourselves. So I'm sort of coming on that point. How we
She's
associate.
changing her state, basically.
Yeah.
She's going from one state to another.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that.
And the only reason I'm asking Benji is because I do feel sometimes, because I do feel that, I think women probably have more roles in this area. I could be wrong here, don't have a go at me. All right. But I feel they can switch as well. So that hence my question.
Yeah, you can. I mean, when you're doing the role in your job, you're having to do it in a certain way, certain technique. So when you come home, you're just being yourself. The discipline aspect of it, yes, it does sort of stay with you because you're sort of trained in that way of doing things. Everything is sort of timed and that. So you can't, you can't always stop it, but you do.
It's
you
like
sort of leave it at the door.
The light bulb. How many Rockies do you want?
You sort of leave it at the door and sort of, come in, and because it is quite hard to sort of switch as well because you're trying to get all that. And yet, you will find the family sort of saying, you're in that policing role or anything you sort of say, sort of. But if you're doing it sort of for a number of hours, automatically your way of thinking is going to slightly be that way as well. But it doesn't change you as a person. It doesn't change you as a Gorsik.
Does it? Doesn't change you as a person, but does it improve you as a person?
Yes, because it sets in the discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It certainly gives you the discipline, and you have to. And as a sec, you have to have discipline in your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't. You're just like everybody who isn't.
Yeah.
So therefore, for that reason, yes, you do. It does give you that discipline.
Nice.
And and you need that. You do need that, even in our everyday living in the moment. We live in the moment, and that's the only way. It's like Baji was saying, our mind, how it thinks, past, present, and future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You have to.
So much.
Yeah. You have to live in the present.
Yeah.
You carry the memories from past on, and your experience. For instance, what you've done 2 hours ago, you're going to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you're going to carry it into your future.
I so agree. You know what's really nice, actually, just speaking to you, Benji, is that I do feel a lot of people, generally, whether they realise it or not, and I mean this from you talking there, and also you've got the psychological aspect there, but a lot of people, when they start talking, they talk, I believe, sometimes in terms of a fear aspect, or they talk of some unknown. So it's like you're actually saying, look, I'm a Gursik, I'm going out there, I'm going on the streets, I'm helping the community, okay, I'm with the police, okay, because a lot of people, they go, oh, I can't go out, what will people think, and they talk from a negative, but, and they don't even realise, so it's very inspiring.
Yeah, it certainly makes a difference. I mean, I feel very privileged that my Guru has given me this roop, and I can show it to and share it with the other people, the outside world.
Yeah.
And because I can do that, they're interested.
Yes.
They may not have any questions for me, but just because of the way I'm
Actions
looking.
speak louder than words, don't
Yeah,
they?
absolutely. And the way I look, you know, the star is my crown,
Yeah.
and I wear that with great pride and joy. You
Yeah.
know, my guru is. I'm privileged that I've been, you know, given that chance to do that
Totally.
and make a difference to,
Yeah.
so that you know that every sec is looked at in a positive way.
Yeah.
You know, and they respect that. They respect, and they want to learn. They want to learn about the 5Ks. They want to learn about your Gurban, because that also is an issue outside.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's a big step. And for a female, I keep going back to the female
No, but
because
I think it's important, you know.
it's. I just wish there were more Gothic, you know,
Do
females
you think
out
it's
there.
because they just don't know, or you know, it's just an area they thought, you know, I've always thought about it, but I've not seen, you know, anyone out there, so maybe I'll just keep away, whatever, you know, because you know, I'm sure it's not due to fear. I mean,
No,
I
not.
probably could. Yeah, it's like, what did you just say? You know, it's like,
Yeah. I think it is probably because it's that sort of feeling of, can I do it?
yeah.
Yes, anyone can do it.
Okay.
You know, any person can
So
do
how
it.
is there a website? I mean, again,
Yeah.
we'll put details on there.
Yeah,
So.
you know, you can go through the Met
Okay.
careers and see what they're recruiting for. I mean, I know they're not recruiting for regulars at the
I
moment.
think, you know, they should seriously
Yeah.
consider putting you in terms of, you know,
Well,
some sort of...
they have actually used me as an advertising campaign
Ah.
for recruitment.
Well, you know, it's funny you should mention it, because I just remembered, I think it must have been at least 3-4 months ago. Was it in the Metro paper, or
Yeah.
it was, I saw your... Yeah, I mean, how did that come about?
Well, again, they were recruiting for the specials, constables in the
Yeah.
Metropolitan Police, and they sort of asked for anyone who was interested, and I thought, well, why not, let's give it a go. I'm not going to get picked.
Yeah.
And so I just wrote to them, they asked for pictures, sent them through, and then before I knew it, I was asked to do a photo shoot with them.
Ah.
And lo and behold, I've now still, to this date, getting people saying to me, I've just seen you on the Underground. You know,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, in fact, you know, it's quite funny because, you know, to see yourself on the notice
Yeah.
boards or the advertisements and everything. But I think it's a real positive for Sikhs, for
I
the
do,
God
yeah,
Sikh.
totally, yeah.
You know, I
Because they're seeing you in a positive way. They okay, they're helping
Yeah.
us out with our community.
Yeah.
Okay, because I think a lot of complaints that people say generally is, oh look, no, there's no integration, there's no this, and you're saying, excuse me,
Yeah.
you cannot get more integrators. You know,
Yeah,
I'm here,
absolutely, yeah.
I'm helping not just our community, but the
whole,
community as a
yeah.
whole. And I mean that is part of what we do as a Sikh anyway.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And we're quite privileged in the sense that of our language as well.
Yeah.
You know, speaking Punjabi and English and, you know, Urdu and Hindi, which is a very similar kind of
Yes.
linguistic language.
I was about to say, did you find that really helps? Because
Yeah.
obviously
Yeah,
you're out there, so because you understand different languages, then most of the time it is a miscommunication.
Yeah,
And so you go,
yeah.
no, do you know what? And they probably say, oh, you know, there's happening here. Okay, look,
Yeah.
this is the problem. I'm just thinking of the situation. But,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, definitely. I mean, if you go to, you know, an incident where there is an Asian family, ultimately they would like to, they sort of relax, the barriers
Yes.
go down and they're able to communicate with you, which makes a big difference. It is a very, very rewarding, I keep saying rewarding, it is. You know, I thoroughly enjoy it.
Okay.
But I can sort of say that, you know, it's something that I've chosen to do, and I'm very, very happy that I'm doing it. And I'm representing our community.
Yeah, no, that's really nice to hear, actually. Jatinder, any sort of last words as well you'd like to give? Because, as I say, you know, I think it's funny, you're both talking from different areas, but they're so interconnected.
Yeah.
You know, so...
Yeah. Well, just going back to the thing about you said about fear, you know, in the kind of personal development circles, they say fear stands for false evidence appearing real.
False?
Evidence
Yes.
appearing real.
Ah, false. Yeah, okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense, yeah.
And it's, the thing is, this I think what I want to finish off on would be that there's two aspects here, motivation and inspiration, right?
Okay.
I think if you're motivated, you're going to always do what's happening around you, things like that. But when
Yeah.
you're inspired to do something, which comes from within,
Mm-hmm.
that's powerful. You know, that's where, you know, you could tell from what Benji's talking and with the passion she speaks that she's inspired with what she does.
Yeah, I mean, that was totally coming
You
across.
know, she's
yeah.
not motivated, she's inspired.
Yeah.
And that's what people got to look for, is that inspiration within them is what inspires me, what do I love? You
I was
know?
about to say, what do you think is the most inspiration most people get, or what they want to do? I mean, obviously, money's always important, I believe, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. We have to survive, we have to pay the mortgage, whatever. Apart from, I think, the money side, and you know, we're hearing fantastic example here. What else is it that inspires people or motivates people? What do you believe?
Ooh, that's a tricky one, you know.
Really?
7 billion life on this planet, or inspires them all? You know?
No. I'm not talking about the whole
No,
planet,
it's
but it's just in relation to the reason I put money, because I think that's probably one factor. So people feel they get the freedom to do whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's not the money itself, really, is it?
Yeah.
It's the, you know, what you get. I mean, if I had a couple of million, okay, it's like, I do believe I'd be myself, but hey, I'll be, you know, travelling first class. Why not? Okay.
Yeah.
But apart from the money side, I mean,
Yeah.
there must be other inspirations. Like we're hearing a fantastic example here. I've also heard people who go out. Actually, we ourselves do that as well. We go out into London, and you know, we do seva of Langar seva, you know, to the homeless.
Yeah.
Okay, because that is so inspirational.
Yeah.
Okay, and you know, but I mean, are there any parts in terms of you come across people who say, "Oh, I do this," and it's nothing to do with money directly.
Yeah.
It's nice to make you think on that. Actually.
No, definitely. I'm just trying to think, because I'm trying to relate to myself as well.
Sure.
Obviously, I can't answer for everyone, kind of thing.
Yeah. No.
But just with myself, I think it's human potential, human spirit, which inspires me. It's if I've seen someone do something, I look at it like, wow, you know, that is amazing.
Like a mentor type person?
A mentor, it could be anything, it could be any situation. It's just sometimes that drive, that determination. I mean, just one thing, I don't know, this kind of made me think it was amazing, was one of my cousin sisters many years ago when her husband passed away, and she had 3 kids which were all at that time younger than 10.
Okay.
And I think the youngest was a couple of years old, kind of thing. So she was a single mother of 3 kids, right? She, at that time, she was so determined and driven. She went into university, right? She didn't do a part-time course, full-time course, right? She was working at the same time, right? And she got out of university with a 2-1.
Wow.
And I was just blown away, thinking she's got 3 kids, right? She's working, she's gone into university, and you got students who complain, right? And she's come out with a 2-1. I'm thinking, unbelievable. That was inspiration for me in one sense.
Yes.
And she probably doesn't know that, but it's for the first time she said that.
Wow. You heard it here, First C Channel. Actually, the funny thing is, this was about 15 years ago, I did the same. In terms of, I was working full time.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I used to go to university. And I used to be like this, okay.
Yeah.
But I did a full-time university course as well. It was night time.
Right.
It was crazy. I mean, honestly, when I used to go into lectures, people really must have thought I was on something. It was just lack of sleep, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, wake up in the morning on Monday, not go to sleep till Wednesday. I don't recommend that. Yeah. But yeah, no, but the reason is I could totally relate to that sort of thing.
Yeah.
She got a higher grade than me, so I won't say. No, that's fascinating. Look, I really do thank both of you for coming and, you know, giving us some fascinating insights here, you know, and it's what's also really nice is the way that you're promoting Sikhi without having to tell people about Sikhi. I think because most of the time you get people who say, look, it's A, B, C, D, and most of the time, I mean, even I just switch off. It's like, I don't need a lecture. You know, actions speak louder. It's nice you're out there, you're doing so much seva for the community, you know, you're out there, and yourself as well, you know, you gave us some fascinating aspects, you know, on personal development. And at the end of the day, that's, as a Sikh, that's what we're always learning, aren't we? So that's really nice. So yeah, we'll put details on the facebook.com /Ik Conscious Living, and say this book is available on Amazon. It's fascinating, but I really enjoyed it. That's the only reason why, you know, I did ask Banji to tell us about it. And this book as well, multiple streams of inspiration as well. It's so I'll put both books so you can understand. So this book we're going to have as a a competition.
We've got
What-
five books to
is
give
it
away.
5 books?
to give
Okay,
away.
so what we'll do is, for, anyone who's interested, email us or on the Facebook page. So all you savvy people who know how to get on there, and the first 5 emails we'll get, we'll send that across to you. And thank you both so much for coming. We hope you enjoyed the show, and as I say, we'll again next week we'll have some more fascinating guests. So
Waheguru Ji Ka
Khalsa,
Khalsa,
Waheguru Ji
Waheguru Ji
Ki
Ki Fateh.
Fateh.